All right, hold up. Before we get into the first interview, we definitely have to stop and thank some of our sponsors. The Collab project wouldn't be possible without the fine folks at ACS, Henry Martin Law, Hopsteiner, Aromas, Tarantino Engineering Consultants, Victory Packaging, and of course Whitey's Liquor. So thank you for not only supporting BAM, but especially the Collab project. All right, on to the first interview.
My name is Jim Wagner. We are at BC Brewery. We're in Hunt Valley, Maryland, and I'm the brewmaster here. Absolutely, yeah. Well, it's a collab, it's fun. So a lot of the guys that I'm going to be working with are, some are old friends and some are new brewers that I've never had the experience to work with, so it's going to be a lot of fun. You know, different ideas, different concepts of how the beer should turn out, different techniques, especially with the beer that we've chosen to do with the Hazy Juicy. There's some different technical aspects of the beer, and I feel we can get some ideas from other brewers on ways that they use special techniques to make sure we keep that haze throughout the entire beer. Just in general, it's going to be a Hazy Juicy, so that kind of tells you which direction we're going with. We haven't finalized the recipe yet, but I've gotten a lot of feedback from the 7 other participants, and we've pretty much agreed on a lot of things. So we're just working out the fine details now, but we're going to have some really interesting hops, one that's not been on the market very long, that is going to really entice the hop heads to make sure they try this beer. Well, it's great because, first of all, I'm comfortable here. I know my system well. So, to be able to bring in other brewers and let them see, well, this is the way our specific system runs from, the beginning of milling all the way to knockout. You can't help, I don't care if you've been a brewer for 6 months or 20 years, there's always something new to see or learn, different techniques, different ways of doing things. So, I think that brings out the best of, the whole meaning of the collaboration. I've been doing this professionally now for 20 years, so, it's fun to share my knowledge, but then it's also fun to see, some ideas that you may have not thought of, or techniques, or just anything in general. And then just the personalities. It's going to be nice to be hanging with the 7 other breweries that have chose to participate with us. I'm super excited about that because I think we got a really nice group of guys and group of breweries to pull this beer off. They're all locked down, so we have Pub Dog, we have Independent, we have Mully's, Smoketown, and Full Tilt, and last but not least, Hopkins Farm. And we're hoping to maybe utilize some of Hopkins grain that they grow right here in Maryland in this specific beer, which would be nice. Well, it's a big deal because, I've been involved in some way, shape, or form with BAM for a long time now, from its infancy many, many years ago to what it is today. And, with COVID hitting, it's put a hurting on everybody. Festivals that we were so used to going to, that BAM would put on, we haven't been able to do that. And although fun and enjoyable on our side, that's a revenue stream for BAM, and that's what keeps BAM going. So I think, doing these collaborations and generating some awesome beers and some awesome interest and be able to get these cans out, it doesn't take the place of the camaraderie of a festival, but it's the best we can do right now under these conditions, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. BAM, as I mentioned, I've been in some way, shape, or form affiliated with BAM almost my whole career. And what BAM does, I think in a nutshell, is they get the word across to the beer drinker that you don't have to necessarily look out of state or to the West Coast or out of the country for that matter for great beer. We have a lot of breweries right now that are putting out tremendous beers of very high quality. And again, I think this is great because we're going to basically take the best ideas from 8 different minds and throw them all together here. So I'm really excited to see what we come up with. So yeah, once BAM puts out their initial sale of the cans, we are going to have cans for sale at, right now I believe, every participant, at least the majority of them. So wherever you live, luckily we have a good topography of breweries from here to downtown Baltimore to Prince Frederick, Maryland, Westminster. So The great thing is, wherever you live, it should be fairly easy for you to walk in and purchase a 4-pack or a case of this product once it's out. Hey, buy these beers. It's not just our hazy. There's going to be 3 other styles that come out at the same time. They're going to be super interesting, and I think you're going to be really impressed with these 4 beers. Make sure you buy a lot. Support BAM, support your local brewery. This is where all the magic starts to happen here at BC Brewery. All around me are our grains, be it specialty grains or our base grains. And depending on the beer style we're brewing, depends on how much of each or what grains go in. They get dumped in here to our mill right off this platform, and they go up this conveyor. This is a disc conveyor system. We chose to go that way rather than a worm gear, because once we get that grain milled exactly where we want it, the disc system does not destroy it or mill it further, and that helps us tremendously in the mashing and the lautering process. One thing COVID has done that we've actually benefited from is given us the time during the lull in business to barrel age a lot of beers. So we're really excited about that. This winter, we're going to be releasing a lot of them. So some of these beers have been sitting in here as long as 6 months, aging in a specific type of bourbon barrels. Each beer varies. We got some Russian Imperial Stouts, we have barley wines, we have a wee heavy, a little bit of everything. And it's fun to age these beers and get those awesome bourbon characters coming through. It totally changes the entire complexity of the original beer. This is the brew house. As you will notice, we actually have 2 brew houses here. We have a 7-barrel system that we use to brew our traditional style beers, meaning traditional grains, wheat, barley, rye. The small 2-barrel system, that is solely dedicated to gluten-free beers. So that entire system only sees gluten-free ingredients, which keeps the final product gluten-free at the end. We use separate hoses, separate gaskets. We go through great lengths to make sure that all of our gluten-free products are 100% gluten-free. With that said, typical brew house, we got a mash tun here. So where that grain comes in is the grist case here. That all dumps down into the mash tun. We mix that with tempered water. Depending on the beer style, it usually ranges anywhere from 149 degrees Fahrenheit all the way up to possibly 158, 160. Once we get the mash going, that basically we let Mother Nature take over, and the grain starts naturally to convert the starches there with the enzymes that are present into sugars. We get those sugars, which is called wort now. We send that wort over to the boil kettle. We slowly fill that up, at which time that's where hops get added, depending on what beer, as little as a couple pounds, as much as 20 pounds, depending on the style. Once we're done there, we send it through a heat exchanger down here. Heat exchanger basically just cools the beer down from approximately boiling temperature to room temperature. We then send the beer through hoses over to one of these fermenters. And once we do that, we throw in the specific yeast strain that we are using for that particular beer. Ferments anywhere from a few days to a couple weeks, depending on the style. Once the beer's done, we condition it, and it eventually makes it to the taps or to the canning line. One thing that really sets us apart here at BC Brewery is our self-serve wall. It's awesome. So basically, you can come in and you get issued a card. You take that card, you pick what style of beer or alcoholic beverage that we serve here that you would like to try. And the great thing is you don't have to buy an entire pint on something you might not like. So for instance, I want to give Hunt Valley Blonde a try. I can basically pour just a tiny bit and be charged just for that tiny bit. You give that a shot. If you like it, you can continue to fill it up. If you just want to sample, you can kind of do that all day long. So it gives you a lot of versatility and gives you the ability to try a lot of beers and not commit to certain beers or certain products that you might not like. In addition to all the beers we serve here, we also have some fantastic food, wings. Our pizza's amazing. Tacos. We do a little bit of everything here, and we try to do foods that really accompany the beers well. So you try to get the total experience of not just great beer, but also some really good craft food as well. You caught us before we opened today, but this is our brand new outside area that we just opened up officially about 2 weeks ago, maybe a little longer. So as you can see, we try to make it as comfortable and as COVID safe as possible. If you want to sit outside here, we have 6 people to a table maximum. We keep everything spaced out. We got the sun guards over top, so it's just a really nice area to sit out, especially this time of year, getting into the fall. Nice and comfortable, and yeah, just a great experience. Our plans are we will be bringing out heaters in some way, shape, or form. We're not sure what kind yet, but that's the plan, is to get some space heaters out here so we can keep it going well into fall.